going to do our best tonight to keep the pace going. We have a fantastic agenda. We would normally begin with administrative remarks, but
we are waiving administrative comments so that we can devote our attention to our retired professionals as well as our newly tenured professionals.
sounds like a good idea. I'll keep in pace with that and move things along. Our student representative, Mr. Monica, here tonight. Excellent. Mr. Scott here, who's down, who brings us to the moment that we've been talking about, and that will be the tenure appointments. Dr. Henning.
Good evening, board trustees, our distinguished guests and families who are here to celebrate both our newly retired professionals as well as our newly tenured professionals. In a moment, I'm going to turn the microphone over to our administrators who each will speak about each first retiree and then our newly tenured professionals. And then we'll follow that with comments from Elizabeth Kennedy, is Director of PPS, as well as Victor Carlson and Jack Coxon, who will also speak about a wonderful group of staff members who are also retiring. Just as a little history, of the 10 professionals who are retiring, they represent an average of 27 years of service to the district. That's pretty extraordinary. For the non-instructional staff members who are retiring, 16 members, they represent an average of 21 years of experience. So can we just start off by recognizing and honoring both of those groups of people with a round of applause? And there is a customary, traditional item in here that's secret that we're not going to let you know about. You can't open the bag until you get home. Just as a little token of our appreciation for all of your years of service and your new tenure recognition. So we're going to start first with Dr. Zampolin, followed by Dr. Young, Mr. Clark, Ms. Hoyler, and then as I mentioned, Ms. Kennedy, Mr. Carlson, and Mr. Coxon.
One person cannot be here tonight, but I do want to say a few words about Lorraine Anderson first. Lorraine is our school psychologist, and I just want to briefly say that there are those people that come into your world that you get to know, and they make a better person out of you. And Lorraine has done that for me. I believe that good teams work best when each member challenges the other members to be better, to work harder, to provoke deep and creative thinking about situations and challenges. And Lorraine has done a wonderful job in pushing our team to be better at what we do every day for the benefit of students, teachers, and parents, always at the forefront. This time I'd like to welcome up Pam Hanley. This year, my time at JFK, that Pam is great at sewing. And Pam, that should not surprise me, as I've seen her ability to weave a wonderful fabric into the culture of JFK. Pam has been with the school for 30 years. Her previous job was working at a bank for 12 years before she had her children. Pam has many good memories of working at JFK. But the one that stands out the most is the support she had from the JFK family when her son Brian was deployed for 2 different tours in Iraq. And that's what stands out most to her. Pam hopes that she's made a positive impact upon students' life throughout the years. She will continue with her love of sewing and still do alterations and teach classes. And Pam's not leaving totally, as she would still like to come back and be a sub here at JFK. So thank you and congratulations. I'd like to welcome up Kathy Hickey. One thing I learned about Kathy is that Kathy is a serious sports fan. She loves supporting her children when they were playing, but she also likes supporting a lot of local teams, Giants, having season tickets and making sure she hits all of those before game activities. Kathy states that it's been a pleasure to be working both at CD Star and JFK. She's been in the district 19 years, 17 of which were with special education. I asked Kathy what she will be doing when she retires, and she replied, I quote, "Everything and nothing." In 2008, Dr. Young started a mentoring program at JFK, and being involved with that program for many years has been one of her most rewarding experiences in the district. And she quoted James Taylor at the end of what I asked her to write. She said, "The secret of enjoying life is passing with time." So congratulations. As Kathy's making her way down, I'd like to welcome up Mary Tavino. Mary has worked for the Brewster Schools for 25 years. She has an associate degree in accounting, and she stayed at home for her 3 sons. During her years in Brewster, Mary has met many wonderful people and has made many amazing friendships. She will truly miss the kids and the friends she's made along the way. Mary's plans for retirement are many. Her family is growing, and she knows that she will be very busy with her grandchildren. Although, while her husband's still working, she does plan to spend a lot of time at the beach this summer. We would like to congratulate you, Mary, for your time. Karen Skeeling. If you hear that name, Karen is one of the Skeelia 3 here in Brewster. Karen has spent 26 years here in the district. She started in special education and spent the last few years in kindergarten. She's also taught at the Brewster Cooperative Nursery School before coming to Brewster as an aide. One of her career highlights is a little story when she had a child in kindergarten. She was in the shopping center, and this guy came up to her and said, "Hi, Miss Skeelia," and gave her a big hug. He went on to say how he remembered having her in kindergarten, and he was having a difficult time. He told her that he was nervous. She took him under her wing, and she said that everything would be okay. She will always remember, "I will always remember you for making everything at ease." And he took that away and remembered it from kindergarten all the way through. So Karen plans to spend most of her time with her children, her grandchildren, and her friends. And again, another person who just can't keep away because she plans on subbing and being present at JFK. So thank you and congratulations. As far as tenure is concerned, Megan Gersh. To the board and superintendent, I'd like to present Megan Gersh for tenure. Dr. Henning Piedmont. When we talk about the district's goal for full inclusion, there's putting it into theory, talking about it up on paper, and there's another about putting it into practice. And when we talk about the rigorous time we have here for probationary staff, Megan has gone through all the hoops, but then made leaps afterwards. We had 3 children this year who were in a fully inclusionary environment, who have transitioned during this year into an inclusive environment within the classrooms, just like everybody else. And that goes with all the hard work in networking with not just the children and making sure they were prepared, making sure the parents felt comfortable that they were able to move their children from this self-contained environment into a whole class. and then working with the teachers who were going to receive these children, among all the other children. Putting the plans together, putting the time and the effort to make these things happen and enriching the lives of children. Megan Gersh has done a wonderful job, so I recommend her to superintendent and to the board for tenure. I would like to welcome up Dr. Young.
I could talk about the following people for hours, but I won't. But don't let my brevity fool you, and it won't detract from our appreciation for them. I'd like to call up Jill Carbone, who is retiring this year. I did get it out of my system and read pages at the faculty meeting today. Jill received tenure in 1988. If you do the math. Band, she runs band. Band is a voluntary program, and we have about 220 students who volunteer to be in the 4th and 5th grade band, and there's very little attrition. This is an excellent indication of Mrs. Carbone's ability to instill a joy of creating music, even though it can be challenging at times. Jill honors what students do correctly so they become risk takers, playing confidently. Those that get frustrated when something's difficult and they don't get it, Jill reminds them, you didn't get it yet. Jill nurtures a culture for learning by creating an environment of safety and comfort. She does this by being organized and letting her students know exactly what's expected of them in order to be successful. Her concerts are consistently receive accolades from administration, staff, and all of our families. Her lessons and concerts are well organized and they run smoothly. Most importantly, the students play so beautifully. It's music to our ears. Jill, you will be sorely missed, but we wish you the best in your retirement. I always like to start by saying tenure isn't received, it's earned. Tenure is just the beginning. It's the recognition that a teacher possesses the highest valued qualities that are essential to educating our future generations. Tenure acknowledges the past years, but more importantly, puts the faith in you to make a substantial difference in the years ahead. We are fortunate that the following teachers are being recommended for tenure. Start with Jackie Fago. Jackie's a third grade teacher. She's had many different jobs over the years. She's tireless in her efforts to advocate and deliver services that benefit her students. She's also relentless at supporting her colleagues and the administration. Jackie's an extremely reflective educator. She consistently evaluates, reevaluates, and critiques her own lessons to define the strengths and areas she wants to advance. Jackie's able to step on and off the balcony to get perspective and expand her expertise. Ready? Jackie is a member of the PBIS committee, the PAC committee, which is the Principals Advisory Committee, the Math Parent Guardian Curriculum Night. She's a member of the Project Lead the Way team, the District Strategic Coherence Committee, the Brewster Central School District's representative for the Relay for Life, and she's in the process of getting her TESOL certification. She's an active participant in multiple voluntary book clubs, and, by the way, she's an excellent teacher. I'm just not sure when she sleeps, but I do want to thank her husband for getting her for very little time, I guess, and her family. Congratulations. Welcome to us. I'd like to call up Noelle Janisa. Noelle is one of our E&L teachers. Noelle treats her students with respect, and in turn they are expected to treat others in the same manner. Our Ls can often be reluctant sharers and tend to observe more than participate. But with Noelle's guidance, her students participate eagerly and tend to be very attentive throughout the lessons, even when finding assignments challenging. Noelle's students know that she will be there to guide them along the way. Noelle's expectation for our Ls are the same as for the rest of the students in the class. A powerful example of Noelle's compassion and professionalism was her compassion for one of our families who suffered the untimely loss of their daughter. This was her first year in Brewster, and yet she didn't miss a beat. She jumped in to support the family and the community, much beyond the school day. Dr. Zamperlin wrote, "I would like to express heartfelt thanks for all that you have done to demonstrate what it means to be a teacher and a role model for others to emulate. Somos afortunados de ser miembro de nuestra familia CV Star. We are fortunate to have you as a member of CV Star." And now I'd like to invite up Barbara Eustace. Formerly known as Barbara O'Neill. Barbara graduated from kindergarten at JFK to 4th grade this past year. She's been relentless in learning as much as possible about curriculum, instruction, and assessments for her new grade, which will be changing to 5th grade next year. When stopping into Barbara's class, you see cognitively engaged students who are flourishing in a safe, comfortable, and nurturing learning environment. She does this through expert scaffolding, one-to-one attention and guidance, and a calm patience that allows her students to stretch without stressing. I knew I'd do that. Barbara has been an active and valued member of our voluntary before-school book clubs. She consistently seeks to advance her knowledge and instruction of strategies for all of her students. Congratulations, Barbara. We are fortunate to have you. And now I'd like to invite up Mr. Clark.
Good evening, everybody. So I have quite a list. I'll try to keep it brief. I'm not sure what it says about me as a first-year principal that they're all running for the exits. I'll let you draw your own conclusions on that one. Our first guest is not here tonight, Karen Schwinn. Karen Schwinn started in 1999, worked in all the buildings except for Garden Street. She's now in Ohio with her son and her 2 granddaughters and not able to make it to the retirement ceremony. She hasn't been around for a few years, but one thing I will say that stands out in my mind about my memories from when I did work with her was how proud she was of her daughter, who was a helicopter pilot in the Army. She would always, take the time to tell me stories about the adventures of her daughter, and she was just so proud, and that really stood out for me. So now she's spending time with her grandchildren, and we wish her well. Sue Yanarella. So Sue started in 1998 at Garden Street School. She came to Wells in 2012. Sue has one daughter who is very, very proud of her mom. She loves her students, and they feel exactly the same way about her. There's been rumors that she's even been known to buy them souvenirs when she goes to Disney. Her daughter works for JetBlue, so she goes quite often. So we know what she'll be spending her retirement money on. She's truly passionate about her job. While many teachers get to the point in their careers where they've just sort of had enough, Sue decided last year that she was going to start a faculty glee club, okay, and did several performances throughout the year for our students with our faculty, spent hours practicing and it's truly a labor of love for her, and it's a very, very much a part of who she is as an educator. Sue did me a tremendous favor this year. We were in sort of panic mode during the musical, which is a big event, and Sue stepped in the last minute and sort of took the whole thing over and just ran with it. And it was a tremendous, tremendous production in a very short period of time. So thank you so much personally for that. She is always upbeat. She comes with the right attitude every day. She's willing to work with any student. Send her whoever, whenever, she'll take them. She goes above and beyond, and she's truly passionate about what she does. She just absolutely loves what she does, and she's made such a difference in so many kids' lives, and they let her know about it by coming back to visit her as much as possible. And you're going to be missed, but we wish you the best in your retirement, Sue. Chris Filippelli. So Chris started in 1986 and has worked only at H.H. Wells. Why would you want to work anyplace else? No offense. Chris is a tremendous asset to her students and puts her heart and soul into serving her students. She will literally do anything for them. She's happily married to Rich, and they have one son, Richie, and a grandson, Rocco, who she plans on spending a lot more time with in her retirement. She's a tremendous teacher, giving so much of herself to her students and supporting the teachers with whom she works. She will be greatly missed by our family, by her colleagues, especially by Miss Robin Caverly, who has leaned on her for so many years. Thank you. Donna LaGorde. So I had the pleasure of speaking about Donna at our retirement, at our building retirement party this year. And when I was doing my research, I asked around to see if I could get any dirt on Donna. And there was literally none to be had. So she wears a halo in our building. So she started in 1995. She worked at Green Chimneys and at all the buildings in Brewster except for JFK. She's one of the kindest people I've met, always positive, always willing to pitch in, and always doing whatever needs to be done in the service of children. Your retirement will leave a big void, but you will have left an even bigger imprint on all of us. When we started the fundraising for Washington, D.C. 6 years ago, it was supposed to be just a cake auction. It's sort of evolved into a lot more than that. Donna was the first one to respond. I wasn't sure at the time how it was going to go. I sent out an email. She was so excited to contribute. She's contributed every year since then. She's an incredible baker. She loves to do it. This year on my birthday, I came into school on my birthday with a beautiful coconut cake, and I managed to eat most of it on my own. So thank you so much for your selflessness, and kindness throughout the year. And she will be back to visit us and to fill in occasionally. Diane Zarnik. So Diane started in 1997 at JFK and taught there until September of 2014, at which time she came to Wells. I feel bad for us because we missed out on all those years previous to that. In the limited time I have known her, one thing that I've learned is that I wish I had known her longer. She's a very classy person, and I hope that your brief stint with us at the middle school hasn't tainted you too much. Although the speech that John Martin gave for her at the retirement probably did quite a number. She's played a vital role in her team's 20-time project this year, working with students all year long to figure out how to incorporate their passions into their learning. Coming from younger grades and going into a middle school culture is not an easy task for anybody. It usually takes probably 10 or 15 years to adjust to that age group. But she stepped in like a champion and has, I think, loved it as much as we've enjoyed having her. Although she's been with us for a short time, she's endeared herself to our Wells family. Her 7th grade team is very sad to see her go. She's a true professional, a class act, and has served the Brewster children well. Thank you. Diane Vince. Diane likes to make an entrance. So Diane started in Brewster in September of 1986. That's a year after I got out of high school, just saying. And taught reading until 2007 when she began teaching English. Now, prior to that, how many years were you in Catholic school? Teaching in Catholic school? 9 years teaching in Catholic school prior to coming to us in Brewster in 1986. So prior to that, she taught there. She's married to Jeffrey Vince, our head custodian. Diane also has 2 sons, Andrew and Michael. Andrew, congratulations on just getting a teaching job up in Massachusetts, following in Mom's footsteps. She's deservedly proud of her sons. I don't know if anybody knows them, but they're great kids. And I've had the pleasure of working with Andrew for a brief time in our building, and he's just a wonderful young man. When I first started working at Wells, I was a 6th grade English teacher, so I worked very closely with Diane. Diane was one of the first people I met, and it's kind of funny. Dr. Januzzi at the time sent me down to room 109 and said, "Okay, that's where you're going to be working." Diane was at the computer with Carol Lewis. I said, "Hi, I'm John Clark. I'm the new teacher." She turned around. She said, "Okay, get to work. Let's go." So she acknowledged me, and then she, nose to the grindstone. So my first few weeks, she mentored me through my 6th grade years, always willing to share her expertise, but nearly impossible to emulate her style. To Diane, teaching is a craft, and she is a master of hers. Working tirelessly at honing her lessons, she's one of the last ones here every day, and her classroom is truly magical. for kids. She will sing, she will dance, not very well, but she'll do it. Okay, she uses voices constantly, she does stand-up comedy, she does whatever it takes to enrich the lives of kids. And it's truly, it's nothing that you can find in a textbook. If you go to teacher school, to see what she does in the classroom is just, it's amazing. And she's been doing it well for a very long time. I like to tease Diane, and that's probably what I'll miss the most. I tease her a lot. But in all sincerity, you are a true legend and an inspiration to many. So we have one tenure recipient tonight, Donna Price. Oh, she got up here half the time that it took Diane. Oh, is this on? Sorry, Diane. Before entering the Brewster world, Donna worked for Empire Blue Cross and Blue Shield as a medical claims examiner. She moved to Patterson to provide her children the opportunity to pursue sports, the arts, and to live in a suburban setting. She has 4 children, all of whom graduated from Brewster High School. I've had the pleasure of teaching her son. Her daughter is currently pursuing a teaching career and was influenced by many of the Brewster teachers, and she's very grateful for that. And of course, she was mostly influenced by her mom. Donna started as a classroom aide position in 2005 at H.H. Wells. She decided to go back to school to earn her bachelor's and master's degree. She did this at night and during the summers, all while transporting her 4 very active children to dance, classes, football, basketball, track meets, etc. So to have been in the building at that time as a teacher to watch this was truly inspirational, to see somebody working so hard and being such a role model to her children. So truly inspirational. Donna's been given the opportunity to work in co-taught content areas with exceptional teachers during her years as an aide, and Donna says teaching does not feel like a job to her. She loves working with the students, and she loves to see the little light bulbs go on. So thank you, Donna, and we're happy to have you aboard. Mrs. Horler?
Sorry, I had to squeeze in. Tenure. So we have 3 teachers for tenure, and our first one tonight is Dinez Morales. Mr. Morales is truly passionate about his students. He understands their challenges, having shared similar experiences migrating to the United States himself at a very young age. He devotes an inordinate amount of time working one-on-one with students to ensure their gainful understanding. Working also with groups, he recognizes the value realized learning from one another. He is an integral part of our E&L program. He always makes himself available to tutor after school or throughout the day. He frequently translates for us in the office and all around the building. He's currently finishing his degree in teaching, and hopefully in the fall he will be a Spanish teacher somewhere. Congratulations. Jamie Nooner Flanagan. It is evident to everyone that watches Mrs. Nooner teach that her students truly enjoy class. Currently, she teaches E&L and social studies. Mrs. Nooner Flanagan has created a culture of learning whereby students are not reluctant to engage. From its inception, Mrs. Nuna Flanagan has been an integral part of the ENL planning and development process. As a beginner teacher, she immediately stepped up and assumed a leadership role in developing the ENL curriculum, designed to be responsive in the needs of all ENL students, and particularly our SIFE students. She is currently designing the curriculum for new ENL classes, which she will be teaching next year. She does know that, though. By teaching students how to critically think in the 21st century. She sits on the tech committee, coaches softball, and is quick to help all of us at Brewster High School. She is a Brewster High School alumni, and she clearly displays potential to be one of our finest teachers. Mrs. Sant Ramirez. Mrs. Ramirez has created an inviting classroom environment which fosters a love of learning. She is always inspiring and seeks innovative ways to challenge and engage all of her students. She is extremely proactive in developing lesson plans and finding resources and materials that cater to varied learning styles of her students. She possesses a warm but firm demeanor with an innate ability to connect with young people. As a new principal here at Brewster High School, it was clearly evident very early on that Mrs. Ramirez possesses a keen knowledge of her subject content with a clear understanding that parent and student and teacher communication is paramount to student success. Mrs. Ramirez proactively maintains constant communication with parents. She displays leadership qualities by identifying important issues and leading discussions during department meetings, PLC meetings, and at faculty meetings. She is also a Brewster alumni, and she represents her department as a sitting member of the Technology Committee and has assumed this role for the last 3 years. She wasn't listening to me. So I have 4 teachers retiring from Brewster High School, and only one of them are here, so I'll talk about Melanie last. So I'm just going to make her wait, see what I have to say. First off, Christine Sloan. Christine is a special ed teacher at Brewster High School. She was at CB Star for years. She has been with Brewster High School for 24 years. Currently, she is the senior class advisor and did a wonderful job this year planning prom, which we had last weekend. As an instructor, Christine creates an environment where students succeed because they know what she expects and that she expects the best of her students and will do everything she can to support them in their efforts to succeed. Christine is expecting to be a grandmother any day now, and she looks forward to doing that after retirement. Sue Chamberlain. Mrs. Chamberlain first started at Brewster in 1978 as a speech therapist. She left briefly to pursue her MBA and was a college administrator for many years. In 1990, Mrs. Chamberlain came back to Brewster, where she taught speech in every single school at Brewster, providing students the opportunity to have a voice through speech. John Ciavera. After 30 years of dedication to Brewster, John's career in the science department is sadly coming to an end. John has always been a caring and nurturing teacher who has drawn on his subject matter and past experiences outside education to create an interesting and productive learning environment. When I asked John what he really wanted me to say, he said, you know, I really can't talk about myself. I really feel most comfortable if other people tell you about me. And I think it's a great testament to how John is like as a person. You know, I find him to be incredibly intelligent, humble, and kind. And that's what we're going to miss with John Ciavera. Melanie Castles. Not the 1986 was the magic year for so many people because Melanie also started in 1976. She was a baby. No, it was 1986, 31 years ago. Melanie has always been, and will continue to be, energetic, funny, an engaging teacher whose students have benefited from her love of Spanish language and culture and her ability to get them excited about the subject. For years, she has been able to mix highly organized lessons and activities with fun, engaging activities and other cultural events to produce the kind of personalized, relevant learning that all teachers strive to provide in their classrooms. In addition to fun and energy, Melanie has also engaged students for years by giving them a voice and allowing them to develop their love of learning at their own pace. One of her defining moments was the year she became Michelle Gosh's mentor. She did such an amazing job as mentor to Michelle that she has now gone to be our assistant superintendent. Finally, Melanie has been a key contributor to the National Honor Society, where she was the advisor for 14 years. This year, she was inducted into the Honor Society as an honorary member. Her energy, enthusiasm, expertise will be greatly missed. After retirement, she plans to travel, spend large amounts of time and money on her grandchildren, and generally enjoy the peace and quiet. I need to call up Frank Zamperlin.
Thanks again. I just want to take this opportunity to recognize Jeanette Van Dorp, who's here tonight. Jeanette has worked with a few of us over the years, and I've had the pleasure of working with Jeanette at both CV Star and at JFK. And one of the things about Jeanette is when you talk about a caring, nurturing, loving person, and someone who really deeply cares about children, it's Jeanette. And I've seen her take on some of the most challenging children, and with one-on-one nurturing, loving, caring, and a lot of patience, teach them, guide them, and lead them. And so thank you for all of your 18 years, if I recall, something like that. She's retired recently from last year, and I hope you've been enjoying your retirement. Thank you, and congratulations. I'd like to welcome up Ms. Kennedy.
Before Ms. Kennedy comes up, I just wanted to say that we had the right number of bags, but I introduced a new tradition this year that I didn't tell Ms. Gavin about, that everyone gets a bag. So we owe some of our retirees, and as well as our tenure people, some additional bags. So that's my fault, and we will have those available for you. We'll put something special in there, okay?
Pleased to call up Jackie Smollett, our elementary special education administrator. Jackie came to the Brewster Central School District during the 2002-2003 school year as a committee and special education chairperson, and she became an administrator in 2006. Throughout her 15 years in the district, Ms. Smallwood has assisted students and families to ensure that they are receiving the support they need in order to have the educational foundation necessary in order to progress throughout their childhood development and their education. Having worked with students through the duration of their educational career here in Brewster, we have seen the fruits of her labor with the students who she assisted when they were in preschool and their early elementary years. This past week, multiple parents reached out to Jackie to thank them for the work that she did with their children when they were in preschool, and have credited her with the role that she played in helping these students have the foundation that they needed in order to eventually become independent and reach and achieve the goals that they have set for themselves. What you may not know about Jackie is that she is an avid photographer and also a traveler. If you go into her office, you'll see many beautiful pictures up on the wall, and Jackie is the photographer of those beautiful pictures. Ms. Muller is a trusted colleague, and I will miss our conversations and brainstorming sessions. And when I asked her what she considered to be the highlight of her career, she stated that it has been the biggest honor for her to help the students and families here in the Brewster School District. And what I will also note is that prior to coming to Brewster, Jackie was the director in Putnam County overseeing the preschool services provided to children throughout the county. And I think that this is also a testament of the length and the depth of the career that she's had serving children with special needs and young children, helping them to develop and progress into successful adults. We wish you the best in your retirement, and we will miss you. So congratulations. I'd like to introduce Mr. Coxon and then Mr. Carlson.
I'd like to call up Miss Louise Florin. So Louise has been with the district for 12 years, and when I first started here in Brewster almost 3 years ago, I was surprised by how many different responsibilities Louise had as the secretary to the business official. As Louise knows, she's my right hand, she's my left hand and both of my legs. I always knew that she was great at what she did, but I never really truly knew how valuable she was until I was asked to come up with a list of traits that I was looking for in her replacement, which naturally led me to think about the traits that Louise possessed. So here are some of her key skills. They're not that funny, but they might be. Might be to Louise. Planning and anticipation of needs, and she does this through progressive reminders. She knows what I mean by that. Organization and meticulous record keeping. She is a paper keeper, and I hate paper. So she makes sure that we have all of our record keeping in order. Accounting skills and a global understanding of school business operations. And these last two are the most important. Political advisor / relationship manager. And this is probably the most important, protector. Protector from myself and protector from others, and for that I'm truly grateful. So this list of employee traits pales in comparison to the personal traits that she embodies. Louise will be sorely missed, but we wish her the best of luck in her retirement. Congratulations.
I've often been quoted as saying that this is the best job I ever had, and my face might belie I've had a lot of careers. This is a good job. It's the best job I've ever had. And tonight I'd like to share at least 7 times where I can really appreciate that I hit the mark. There's a couple of folks that apparently missed the bus tonight, so we'll give them a few words. Dennis Castellano, he was our shop garage supervisor, 32 years. I never met a more morally or ethically motivated colleague. He suffered greatly from migraines, but he rarely took a sick day. And when I asked him, why not stay home? He answered, if I'm just sitting at home, I might as well be here. I hope that I'm a man cut from the same cloth. I miss him. Norm Gavin, 10 years with us. Norm is a Navy man, and he could wear the uniform of his youthful self. He was a man of great self-discipline. As many of our transportation drivers, he came from another life. He was a barber in Mount Vernon, and he closed up his business after many years. And he built a barbershop in his own home, and men's barbershop by appointment. Many of his Mount Vernon customers still drove to Brewster out of loyalty to Norm. I know one of his customers came from Rockland County once a month to see Norm. Norm's work ethic on behalf of the district reflected all the training and a wealth of loyalty he gained and demonstrated for the district. I miss him too. Mike Viserta was with us for 23 years. He'll be finishing up the school year with our students. He was always the first in each morning, and on snow days, I would have to call him and tell him to wait. Otherwise, he was on the road by 4:45 a.m. Mike drove mostly special needs and was a patient and kind man. For many years, he was one of our school bus trainers teaching the new recruits. We lose a great talent, a very measured and remarkably easily paced man, and I'll miss him too. Deborah Panzanella, 18 years with us. Deborah was not supposed to be retired. Last winter, she volunteered to come in and clean the snow off our buses after an intense storm. Please don't ever volunteer to do this necessary work. It really is difficult and requires much exertion, pulling snow off the roofs that are 12 feet high. In a split second, an injury followed by surgery and a year of recovery. When some of us leave this work, they leave a part of themselves on our field. Deborah often drove those special students in our district, and that always requires perseverance and dedication, not really captured in a job description. While I miss her, I am thankful that hubby and daughter are still here with us. And that's very family in our district, isn't it? And now I'd like to introduce a wonderful gentleman, Hector Roman. Please come and see us. Last year, Hector, I didn't think we'd have such a short time together, and I promised you that we will go to lunch. I owe you that much, but more importantly, I owe it to myself. Hector's day was longer than his transportation hours. He worked hard and made successes in his lifetime that would be the envy of any accomplished person. He is the model of hard work and honest work. He's a genuine person, and you don't find them often. I cannot forget that Hector always spoke about his family, and does he love his grandchildren. I'll miss Hector again and again, but more often, let's do lunch. Maria. I'll start my 10th year in July, and only last year I found that Maria's real name, that Maria is Maria. I've always called you Marie. Maria, like so many of our monitors, was assigned to runs of our special needs. Year after year, she cared for these children, offering them the support and the welcome they should have every time they board our buses. When we think of care and custody, we were well covered by Maria. At home, Maria raised chickens. I often wondered how close the neighbors were, but I knew they were good chickens, as Maria always brought in trays of eggs. Now, I'm going to tell you, if eggs were bad for us, I would already have been gone. Thanks, Maria. The best years you have in the past year, you've had some medical challenges. We actually have met at the doctor's office. So otherwise, I think you would be singing your praises. We would not be singing. But thankfully, we have that opportunity. I hope you're doing well and you enjoy many years ahead, and I'll miss you, Maria. I didn't see him. Is William Earl here? Okay. So, William, I'm just ending my 9th year and looking forward to number 10, but it won't be so good without you. Will Rogers was misquoted with the saying, he never met a man he didn't like. But truth be told, he must have stolen that from William. Your colleagues told me they never heard you say a bad word about anyone or to anyone. I don't know anyone who doesn't like William and enjoy his humor and good-naturedness. I have admired his dedication to duty and your faithfulness to the principles of a faith-inspired living. I can only hope that you enjoy every minute of retired life that you worked for and deserve. I'll miss William.
That concludes our group of retired professionals as well as our tenure awardees. So could we all stand and give them a round of applause? Thank you very much. This is, after the board takes action, the next step is for you to decide whether you want to stay or to leave, but the board has to take action next. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on now to the Brewster High School Art Society Memory Project. And I think Ms. Muller, you'll be helping us out with that.
Okay, all right, good. All right, thanks.
Okay, well, cricket. I'm Janet Salevi, art teacher at Brewster High School and proud sponsor of the Brewster High School chapter of the National Art Honor Society. I'll speak a little loud so maybe they'll hear us outside, but we have some beautiful portraits out in the front of the pack that our wonderful members, well, about 35 of them, have created. So I'd like to introduce Amber Krish, our National Art Honor Society president, Amanda Mahalko, Jacqueline Higgins, Gabby Amatuli, Olivia Jaspers, and Valerie Simpri to tell you a little bit about our endeavor.
Hello, I'm the president of the National Art Honor Society, and it has definitely been an honor to do so this year. Our club is so incredibly involved and dedicated to everything they do in the community, and I'm so proud of them. Of the many projects we've done, outside displayed is the Memory Project, which they'll probably talk about soon. But it's such a heartwarming and rewarding experience, not just for us, but for the kids in Tanzania who we drew. This club channels their creativity, ingenuity, dedication, and compassion in just about everything. And they simply do not stop. We have 4 days left, and they're still working hard to complete the JFK mural, and we're gonna have a party soon, and so there's still so much going on, and they don't stop. I want to thank administration for their continued support for this club and for making it possible. And I'm so excited to see what you guys do in the future because you have so much potential. So up next is Amanda Mihalko.
My name is Amanda. Okay. The National Art Honor Society is the best club I have ever joined in high school. It gives me the chance to share my creations with others who enjoy art just as much as I do. NAHS also helps me try new and bigger things. For example, I got to be a little rebel and got to paint on the windows of the high school. The Mary Poppins silhouette made me think outside the box because you do not realize how big those windows are until you have to paint them. Let me start by saying I was approached on a Monday and opening night for the play was that Thursday. So with that in mind, the next few things I'm going to say is going to be a mouthful. From brainstorming ideas in order to get Mary Poppins from the computer screen to paper, then to the window, took a lot of thinking and time. In total, measuring the windows, cutting and pasting paper together to the exact size of the windows, drawing the silhouette, cutting out the drawing, taping up the pieces, and painting the empty space, and finishing with about 20 minutes left to spare, I was able to complete the Mary Poppins silhouette in 17 hours. The experience took a lot out of me, but I learned so much from doing the project, and I would have never learned what I did if I had never joined the club. I also got to fully understand the process of creating with clay, which completely opened a new door for me. For someone who has extreme ADHD, a hands-on environment is a great environment. I'm able to express myself in a way I never have, and it feels so much better to touch what you're creating rather than just to look at it. Again, I would have never experienced to this extent without joining NAHS, and I'm so grateful to Ms. Salivi who opened this new door for me. National Art Honor Society has done nothing but grow over the last 3 years since I've joined my freshman year, and every year we participate in the Memory Project. The Memory Project helps us bring a light to orphans of third world countries, some of whom have never owned anything more than the clothes on their backs and or in this case, the hijabs on their heads. This year we received the pictures of adorable children from the Muslim country Tanzania. Included with the photographs, we received a sheet of paper telling us about this country. We sadly learned that the reason why most of these kids are orphans is because their parents died from AIDS, which really showed me just how lucky I am and how horrible the world can get. It felt really good to be part of a project in which I could share with this child I've chosen a little bit of beauty, the beauty of themselves. Our task when signing up for the Memory Project is to draw, paint, or sketch the portrait of a child of our choice, and the child gets the portrait. When we are finished, we send the picture of the child of their portrait and a photo of ourselves, and it makes me happy that I'm able to give the child a gift which no other child has in the world, and that's because it's one of a kind. In exchange for your efforts, we receive a picture of the child holding his or her new portrait, and the knowledge that you just have might brought a little happiness to someone else's life. Next is Jacqueline.
Hi, thank you. My name is Jacqueline Higgins, and I'm proud to be here representing the National Art Honor Society, or NAHS, today, and I'm proud to talk a little bit more about the Memory Project as well as the club and what art means to me. The project itself is a wonderful opportunity that we have to create art for children from poorer countries, like Amanda was saying. To me, this is more than just another assignment or task that I do by rote, but something meaningful, something that I know will bring joy to someone around the world. Art is meant to bring life back into the times that can feel so dull, to make you feel something, anything. Art exists all around us, and there's nothing more fulfilling than knowing you've made something that will make the world a brighter place, even for a moment. It's like when you see a beautiful mural on the wall and you can't help but smile or laugh. And that's what we're all about at NAHS. We always aim to channel and use our love of art to make people smile and improve the community. For example, designing holiday cards and pottery, or painting a mural for JFK, or decorating the lobby before a musical, or even the Memory Project. There aren't enough words to describe the commitment, passion, and enthusiasm that can always be seen in the art rooms put forth by the NAHS members. The overwhelming sense of community and friendship can be felt at every meeting, and we wouldn't be anywhere without the dedication of teachers like Mrs. DeLevy, who's there for us no matter the time or issue. And NAHS is important to me and many others because of the positivity and the inspiring energy that it instills in us every day to not only strive to be better artists, but better people. And next up is Gabby Amatuli.
Hello, my name is Gabby Amatuli, and before I state what I did in the memory project and what art means to me, I would like to thank Ms. DeLevy for taking over the club this year. You've been a tremendous help for everyone, and I'm very appreciative, and I know that mostly everyone in our honor society appreciates your efforts and all your open studios and everything that you've done for us. I want to say thank you so much for that. Last year was when I joined our honor society. It was my sophomore year. I was a nervous wreck, and I really didn't have a lot of friends. But with our honor society, I made so many friends, and I learned the true value of art. We were also introduced to the memory project that year. The point of the project was to receive a picture of a child who happened to be less fortunate than us in the States, usually third world countries. After we received the picture, we were to draw the portrait of the child and then send them the portraits that we had made. I'll admit, at first I was very intimidated. I've never really shown people my art, and I tend to be a very enclosed kind of person. But I had pushed those anxieties aside and gotten through the work, and I have actually, every time I've completed this project, I have been nothing but surprised with my own abilities, and with the helpful eye of not only my art teachers to help me get through these projects, but also the amazing people in our honor society to have pushed me through doing these. Made me very proud of these accomplishments. All right. As I had became a junior, I was still part of our honor society, and I was looking forward to one project in particular, the memory project. I enjoyed the feeling of giving back to those children. This year I did 2 portraits, not only because this project was fun, but because I had finished and I knew that I had given a small fraction of happiness to someone I haven't even met. And that feeling is one of the most amazing, unhonorable feelings someone can have. The memory project is not just about having fun and being able to draw, both something that everyone, I would like to say, takes for granted. The memory project is about more than that. It's about expression through the arts, giving back to the world's community, and of course, giving a little bit of our time to give someone a little bit more happiness.
I just want to thank you girls for representing us so well, and please make sure at some point you just take a little walk in the front of the pack and take time to really, really look at these portraits and the wonderful, chokes me up, inspiring work that they've done. So thank you very much for your time tonight.
Try to put it off as long as possible, but we do have to get to work now. Draw your attention to the action items, beginning with action item number 1, which concerns the approval of change orders from the JFK construction project, and that would be Mr. Carlson.
Yes, these are change orders that were described last week by KGD. We have Joe Riley here tonight this evening if the board has any other questions related to the change orders.
Thank you. We'll take a motion first and a second, and we'll have some discussion, please. Thank you, Mr. Call. Thank you, Ms. Nielsen. Questions or comments from the board concerning this matter? Seeing none, all those in favor, the motion passes 7-0. Action item number 2 concerns the approval of a resolution for the bus bond and was approved on May 16th by the qualified voters of Bruce Central School District. And again, I guess that's you, Mr. Carlson, and then back to the board for a vote.
Yes, this is a procedural resolution. We're required to pass one back in March, which puts it on the ballot, and this second resolution accepts the results of the Proposition 2 vote.
Right. So we can move straight to the vote, which is a roll call vote. Yes, Ms. Cosmo? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, fine. Okay, but, whatever you want. Yes, it is. I
Ms.
want
O'Brien?
yes.
We'll go with yes.
Yes.
He says yes, I will say yes.
Ms. Masika? Yes. Dr. Jambo?
Yes.
Ms. Cosmo? Ms. Nielsen?
Yes.
Ms. McCall? Yes. Motion passes 7-0.
7-0. Okay, great. Action item number 3 concerns the disposal of district property from the JFK Office Furniture Supply.
Yes, these are a few items that JFK has requested to dispose of.
Okay. We usually have no problems with that. We'll take a motion, please, for your consideration of this action item. This under the table. Thank you, Ms. Masika and Ms. O'Brien. Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? The motion passes 7-0. Action item number 4 concerns the 2017-18 initial service contracts. This is with Putnam Northwestchester BOCES and Lower Hudson Regional Information Center.
Yes, this is our initial service contract for BOCES services. As you're aware, BOCES services, different coasters can come up during the year. However, for BOCES playing purposes, they require that we pass an initial service request.
That's right. So we'll take a motion, please, for your consideration of this action item. Thank you, Mr. Dakin. Thank you, Ms. O'Brien. Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor? The motion passes 7-0. And last but not least is the approval of policies. Second read, which means if you approve them tonight, they go into the book. I think we really don't need much else about that. So we'll take a motion, please, for your consideration of this approval request. Thank you, Ms. Cosmo, that's fitting, and Ms. Kakal. Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor, policies are hereby adopted. The consent agenda tonight, and I want to draw your attention to item number 3, where it says personnel items. That's where the board will be accepting, with some reluctance, the retirees that we saw here this evening and others who couldn't make it. Take a motion, please, for your consideration of the consent agenda. Thank you, Ms. Nielsen, and again, Ms. Cosma. Questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor, the motion passes 7-0. Coming down the home stretch, board remarks. The floor is yours, ladies and gentlemen. Sure.
2 items I'd like to bring to everyone's, oh, my goodness. 2 items to bring to everyone's attention. There were a lot of events that we've all gone to. One of my favorite, as I look to Dean, is the annual Spring Sports Awards night. So thank you for that. That was wonderful. It is, while I can attend as a board member and a visitor, it was my last as a parent, and it was quite nice. But to that end, I wanted to bring your attention to the fact that Mr. Scalia, Coach Scalia, was my son's coach. And if you noticed, you heard that name. And as people were retiring and we're hearing people talking, there's a lot of family and a lot of history and tradition. Absolutely. And I am touched that people want to come and have their families come here in Brewster and help at shaping my son's life. So I'm privileged to be part of that. Second prom was the other night, as Ms. Horler mentioned, and while I was stalking Twitter, looking for all the pictures of all the fabulous outfits, again noting that the staff, administration, Dr. Henning Piedmont was there, and many other staff members, our SROs, and again, these folks were there chaperoning our students, and it was a privilege. I slept well, knowing that people cared about our children enough to spend Saturday night at the Matrix. So I thank the staff for what they do for our students.
Thank you for noting that. Yes, ma'am.
I had the privilege for the 3rd year in a row to go with Ms. Yanarella and the 8th grade chorus dance award to America's Young Voices. I've spoken about it before, and I'll say the first year we went, there were 3,000 children from the tri-state area. Last year there were 6,000, And last Thursday night, there were 8,500 children there together. And we get there in the afternoon and we practice with the conductor, the moves, the actions, whatever, and then the show is at 7 o'clock. And I think it gives you goosebumps because you see children of every ages, 2nd grade to 8th grade, all diversities, multicultural, singing in one voice. And to hear it and to see it renews your faith in humanity, in kids, and it's just a magical moment, and anybody who went and saw it was totally taken. Some of the chaperones who went this year have never been before, and they also, plus, think about getting 8,000 kids into and out of the Prudential Center with no incidences. And our kids were so well behaved, and all the kids were well behaved. So it's an absolutely wonderful event, and even though Sue is leaving, I hope that it certainly continues next year.
Other comments from the board? Yes, sir?
Tonight is my last board meeting, and I want to say thank you to everyone for the opportunity to be here. It's been an honor and a privilege to be part of this dedicated team, and I wish you all tremendous success in the years to come.
Well, as they used to say in the old days, we have indeed been met and well met by your presence. Comments from the board? Seeing none, the floor is open for comments from the public. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hussey, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Okay.
First, I'd like to say, oh my God, Miss Smallwood knows my son Joseph from when he was about 2 years old. Early intervention, preschool, and then through pretty much I am going to miss her. She has been amazing. Right on target. You know exactly what he needed.
Sure.
He got all the support from the special ed department. She was a big leader in that, and I thank her dearly. He is now aging out. He's 21. He'll be graduating out of Children's Services. And because of all the support from the Smallwood, the special ed department, and the entire Brewster School District, he's a very severe nonverbal young man, but he has there is the possibility that he might be able to get a little job sorting things. So the progress has been, and I thank everyone at the Brewster School for the support for my son Joseph. The other thing I want to say is, oh my God, Mrs. Vince had both of my kids. I still have the fairy tale books and the dragon books that they did with her. My son Eddie was not the most, with teachers, but one year nominated her with the Nickelodeon Teacher of the Year. He sent in the nomination, and we got a little response. But just to tell you, this is not somebody who would just pick, it wasn't the most with teachers, but she stood out in his life in 6th grade, and I have to say that. The other thing is, you notice I'm wearing this shirt, We Are Wells, that was designed by a student at Wellington Middle School. These are all the characteristics and the attributes of our Wells family. This is what we stand for. So I have to wear it to the board tonight. The other thing I want to say is I had the opportunity and the pleasure to go into Manhattan with our students from Wells Middle School. They were so well behaved. They were a little not aware of the extreme urban environment, which is, rightfully so, but they were very well behaved. I'll go on any trip with any of our kids. If you need me, I volunteer.
Okay, that's for sure. Thank you. Other comments from the audience? Seeing none, I think we'll take a motion. Oh, you have a motion?
I have a motion, Steve. I have a list.
You have a
To make a
list?
motion to adjourn to exec.
Okay.
We have quite a few things to cover. We have to meet with our attorney. Attorney is actually regarding 2 personnel matters,
Okay.
also Garden Street discussion. We have interviews this evening for our new auditor, also known as, and we also have retreat session.
Okay,
Close out the year.
all right. What time is breakfast?
5 a.m.
That's the motion. Who's going to second that? All those in favor, wave bye-bye, reflect at home.